Hello, I'm Dr. Alex Décay. Yes, that's my real name. Yes, I've heard all the jokes. No, you may not make another one. If you're watching this, it means you've been cleared to work with, or around, SCP-15987, codenamed the Professor, and his partner Jasper. Before we get into the casework, the ethics nightmares, and the part where the cat yells at gods, we need context. In this module, you'll learn who they are in Foundation terms, why they're classified the way they are, what the rest of this training series covers, and why, if you're very lucky, you'll go your entire career without seeing what happens when he truly loses his temper. This series is mandatory for Site-17 staff assigned to their wing, personnel in the Department of Thaumaturgy, field agents on anomalies flagged consult 15,987 before doing anything stupid, and medical or psych staff assigned to their corridor. It is strongly recommended for ethics committee staff, senior containment planners, and anyone who has ever said the phrase, "How bad could high-order magic really be?" You will not be a trained thaumaturge at the end of these modules. That's not the point. The point is that you will understand enough to avoid provoking a world-level metaphysical incident, avoid insulting someone who can kill you with a thought but usually chooses not to, and avoid repeating the mistakes we made the first time we had them. Yes, first time. Day to day, what you'll see is a man in his 30s with black hair and green eyes. That is SCP-15987 wearing his perception filter veil. Next to him, you'll see a dark-haired man of similar, apparent age. That is Jasper, who is older than most of our archive. In his true form, which you may or may not ever see, the Professor is roughly 9 feet tall, emerald green, mostly hairless, with digitigrade legs, retractable claws, a tail, and eyes like purple floodlights. Jasper looks human, but he carries the same weight of years behind his eyes. They are linked physically, mentally, spiritually through Bast's blessing, and metaphysically through their magic and their home. Treating Jasper as just an appendage of SCP-15987 is a very efficient way to get on both their bad sides. You are not expected to memorize every date in their history, but you are expected to remember 3 eras. First, pre-Foundation Earth contact, from the late 1800s through the mid-20th century. They appear during key occult incidents, a London cult, a certain doomed ocean liner, and both world wars. At this point, Earth is just one more stop in a very long, very strange life. Second, 1967, the Red Death incident. A cult summons the Professor alone and lies to him, saying Jasper is dead. Deep underground, in grief and fury, he uses far too much magic. He tears open something in our already damaged ley lines, and a presence he calls Red Death partially manifests. The cemetery is erased. People for hundreds of miles suffer nosebleeds, collapse, and in some cases simply die. Animals drop where they stand. He barely contains it, flees, and almost breaks. That is why he treats high-order magic on Earth like a loaded warhead. Third, the Foundation eras, from 1979 onward. In 1979, we detect a high-energy event in the Appalachian Mountains. We find a dead not deer, something interesting inside it, and 2 very anomalous humans. We classify them. We try to contain them. We draft a very flawed cooperation agreement. We do not give them a clear right of refusal. We do not clearly define our own ethical red lines. And we do not give them an exit clause. In 1984, we issue an order they cannot ethically accept. They save the town we were prepared to sacrifice, fake the disaster we demanded, and then leave this world at the first real opportunity. No tantrum, no war. Just a very final, no thank you. For 16 years, they are gone. In 2000, they come back. They contact us from orbit via the International Space Station. They could have stayed gone. They do not. They ask for a new agreement, not obedience and not worship, but terms that recognize what they are and what they know. This time, ethics, thaumaturgy, and legal actually talk to each other. We'll get into that agreement in detail in Module 3. For now, remember, they have a long history with us and with this world. We already lost them once. This series is your map. Module 0 is orientation and context. That's this one. Module 1 focuses on SCP-15987, the Professor, his true form, his veil, what his magic actually does here, and clips from his first interviews. Module 2 focuses on Jasper, who he is, how he heals, and why the Ethics Committee alternates between praising him and losing sleep over him. Magic 101 is a mini-module where the Professor explains his version of magic. Less abracadabra, more high-order math, geometry, and pattern recognition across realities. Module 3 is the deal, the 1979 agreement, how it failed, and the 2000 agreement that replaced it. Module 4 covers casework and field operations, how to actually do your job around them without becoming a cautionary tale. Module 5 is the history of SCP-15987 on Earth. Module 6 covers ethics and edge cases, the children, the healings, and the lines we do not cross. Modules 7 and beyond cover special cases, anomalies where their involvement fundamentally changed the outcome. Don't panic if the names don't mean anything yet. You'll meet them one by one. Now we need to talk about why Earth is fragile, in their terms. From their perspective, each reality is its own bounded place with its own rules, gods, monsters, tragedies, and stories. Ours has a particular problem. Our ley lines, the pathways that carry magic through the world, were badly damaged a very long time ago, likely in pharaonic times. Something the Professor calls Red Death got in. Red Death is part plague, part immune response, part predator. On Earth, high-order magic is like poking at a fractured power grid with a screwdriver while standing in a puddle. Sometimes, nothing happens. Sometimes, all the lights come on at once, and someone dies. You will get a full metaphysics module later. For now, you only need to remember one rule. When the Professor says, "If I cast that here, the world cracks," you do not argue with him. A brief note on immortality and naps. You are going to see SCP-15987 as a force of nature on missions, and as someone half asleep on a Site-17 couch, scarf as a pillow, tail flicking, refusing to sign forms. That isn't laziness. That's coping. Once, when I was trying to get him to sign a truly obscene stack of post-mission paperwork, I asked how he'd managed to stay even vaguely sane after centuries of this. He didn't look up. He just answered.
Rule 1. Take naps. Rule 2. Never make terrible decisions when you're hungry, tired, or grieving. Rule 3. If the world is not actively on fire, it can probably wait a day. Rule 4. Have one person who can walk into your mind when you can't bear it alone. Rule 5. Remember, nothing in these worlds is permanent except what you do to people. Choose carefully. Rule 6. Delegate paperwork. My little human calls it self-care.
We need to be honest about trust. In 1979, we brought them in after the Not Deer incident and treated them like very dangerous assets we could point at problems. We did not give them a clear right of refusal. We did not define our own red lines, and we did not give them an exit. In 1984, we gave an order they could not ethically follow. They saved the people we were prepared to sacrifice, faked the outcome we demanded, and walked away. For 16 years, they had no contact with us. In 2000, they reached out from orbit. They chose to come back. They asked for terms that respected what they are and what they know. The 2000 agreement exists because we finally learned that you cannot leash a being like this without strangling the relationship. You can, however, offer partnership and mean it. If you take nothing else from this module, take this. They are here because, after everything, they decided Earth is still worth trying to fix. Your job is not to convince them otherwise. So, what are you actually expected to do? First, professional respect. In person, use their chosen names, RAKASHAN and Jasper, or Professor, if context fits. Do not reduce them to the cat or the wizard in their presence. Offhand nicknames have nearly caused incidents before. Second, no personal favors. Do not ask them to curse your ex, fix your love life, cure your aunt's arthritis, or just take a look at someone without clearance. There is a full ethics module explaining exactly why those requests end badly. Third, respect boundaries on magic. If the professor says, "I won't cast that here, the world won't take it," you stop asking. Fourth, follow protocol if you see a breach. If a superior tries to coerce them through Jasper, use them as a live-fire training exercise, or use them as a shortcut for mass neutralization, you escalate. First your supervisor, then ethics, then my office. Finally, understand that they can leave. There is no big red kill switch on their file. Our only real leverage is trust and mutual benefit. Don't be the reason we lose them a second time. To summarize, you've just met, on paper at least, two people who were born under bad omens in cruel worlds, found each other, survived gods, wars, and Red Death, and still show up to help us hold this world together. You've learned that they are not standard SCPs. They are not expendable. We lost them once, and they chose to come back. In Module 1, we'll focus entirely on SCP-15987, the Professor, his true form, his veil, how his magic behaves here, and the first interview where he finally starts asking questions back. After that, Module 2 will introduce you properly to Jasper. For now, sign the acknowledgement that you've completed Module 0, Orientation and Context, and remember one simple rule. If you see a tall man in a purple scarf eating tapioca in the Site-17 cafeteria, you're in the presence of someone who has outlived empires. Hello, Professor is a very good place to start. End of Module 0.